Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Divorce Coach Diaries. I am Meg, the divorce coach, and I am so happy to be here with you today. So, today I want to talk about a strategy that has been life-changing for me. And the first time I implemented it in my life was actually before I had been taught it by my coach and before I really understood why it was so powerful. So in 2019, in November, Frozen 2 was released. And at this point in my life, I had three little kids, and my personal life was a complete disaster. I was terrified all the time. I felt completely out of control. I was so overwhelmed and I wasn't sleeping. I was having some really pretty significant stress-related health problems. I just felt like everything was a mess. Everything that I always thought my life was and the future that I thought that I would have for myself and my kids was slipping through my fingers, and I was a wreck. So, took my kids to see this movie, and in it, Anna sings a song called The Next Right Thing. And even almost, what are we now? Almost 6 years later, just over five, I guess. 2025 just started. But 5 years later, I still remember how I felt listening to this song and hearing her pour her heart out about when there is darkness all around you, when there is grief and overwhelm, and when life is so hard, do the next right thing. And I remember how it felt sitting in that movie theater, trying to keep it together and contain my emotions when inside I could have just fallen to the floor and sobbed. And I probably did that later that day. But I had these three little kids with me who were just there watching this movie, no idea really how our lives would change over the next couple of years. And hearing her talk about doing the next right thing, I remember texting a couple of friends who knew a little bit of the challenges that I was facing and asking, like, have you seen this movie yet? Did you hear that song? Like, I could not believe how much that connected with me. And I kind of decided right then that that was going to be my life's mantra: do the next right thing. And that to me felt like, even though I didn't really know why or how to put words to it, or that had not yet been taught to me as a strategy for dealing with really challenging things, there was something that pricked my heart and connected with me and resonated like, this is what you need to do. Because here's the thing: when we are in really challenging times in our lives, it's so easy to focus 5 miles ahead where we can't even see that yet. And our brains spin and spin and spin and overwhelm and panic because we don't know all the things. We don't know how it's all going to work out. We don't know what to do. Focusing on the next right thing will change your life in these challenging times. And here's what I want to call this today. And this is how I talk about it with my clients: shorten your lens length. So we're going to practice zooming all the way in. so that we can only see the very next thing in front of us. So, however it is you want to call it, whatever it resonates with you best, do the next right thing, shorten your lens length, zoom in. We're talking about the same thing, just using a little bit different words. So, I want to challenge you to do this. When you are going through really challenging times in your life, shorten your lens length all the way in. Maybe that means on your most challenging days, we're only going to worry about the next hour. What is it that I need to do for the next hour? Maybe that's take a shower, put some clothes on, do your hair, put a little bit of makeup on, and then we're going to worry about what's next. Doing this helps us focus in really, really tightly. Because without this, in really challenging times in our lives, our brain runs away with us. Our brain completely runs away from us and wants to focus on all these different things, and we shut down. We shut down and we can't do any of it. We can't accomplish anything. We can't focus on anything because our brain is a complete mess of all the things from a very high level. And it's looking to the past, it's looking to the future in all these ways that we can't even predict. It's just made up anyways. So be in charge of your brain, and this will set you free and it will bring you so much peace. Be the boss of your brain. And when it wants to run away to all of these other pieces and other things and worries and circumstances that we think might happen in the future, but we don't know yet, focus it in, talk back to your brain and say, it's okay. We're not worried about that right now. All we're focused on is the next thing. We can do that. What's the next thing? And even some of those next things might be really, really hard. Let's say you are at the very beginning of what you think and predict to be a really challenging divorce process, full of conflict. Maybe for you, the next right thing is to ask for recommendations and make 3 consult calls with 3 possible attorneys. Maybe that's it. Maybe you've already chosen your attorney. Maybe your next right thing is to pay the retainer so that your attorney can process the paperwork and file for divorce. Maybe your next right thing is to pull together the last 2 years of financial records, which even that can be broken down into several subtasks. So maybe today you're only going to focus on one credit card and printing out the last 2 years of statements, as well as putting that in a folder and uploading it into the portal for your attorney. This is what I mean by shortening your lens length. Because if we don't do that, especially maybe particularly after we've had a meeting with our attorney during the divorce process, they're talking about all sorts of potential outcomes, potential obstacles, things that need to happen. And if you are like a lot of my clients, you leave one of these meetings completely overwhelmed. And what do we do when we're overwhelmed most often? We don't do anything. We completely shut down. We might binge watch a show on Netflix for 4 hours. We might go to sleep. We might drink too much. We might scroll our phone for 3 hours before we know what has happened because our brain is so overwhelmed and it sees this giant picture. It is your attorney's job to keep an eye on the big picture. That's what you're paying them for. You don't want them to only look at the next thing. You want their lens length to be very, very broad. But you don't have to do that, and it most likely will not serve you to look at it from the 20,000-foot view. We want to zoom in, shorten our lens till we're only looking 5 feet in front of us. And once we've looked 5 feet in front of us, once we've done that next right thing, then we can move forward and we can decide what's the next right thing after that. So, tools and skills like this one, zooming in or shortening your lens length, is the type of thing that I walk clients through all the time. And it is so valuable to have someone to help you while you figure out what your next right thing even is. This is something that my coach did for me brilliantly while I was going through some different really, really challenging times. And it is so valuable to have somebody to help you do this. And don't worry, if you don't even know what your next right thing is, bring it to me. I can help you take that weight off and help you figure it out really easily because I promise you, your next right thing is not a mystery to me like it might be to you. It's not confusing. And sort of like your attorney, as your coach, I can look at the mile high view for you. You don't have to look at it, and I can help you easily figure out what a good next right thing for you to focus in on would be. So, if this sounds like something that might be helpful to you, go to my website and book a free mini session and let's talk about it. I would love to help support you in some of these really challenging lifetimes for you. I've got you. You have nothing to lose. I promise to take good care of you. So don't be shy. If this sounds like something that might be helpful for you in real time with your real specific circumstances to help flush out what some of these next right steps are for you, I would be honored to sit with you and to help you figure that out. Go to my website, megthedivorcecoach.com/mini session. Book a session or come and find me on social media. Come and find me on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, all at Meg the Divorce Coach. Message me and we will work it out together. I promise you I can help. So, friends, zoom in, shorten your lens length, do the next right thing. You've got it. Have a wonderful week. I am thinking about you and I hope to hear from you soon.